Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We're at 13175 Southwest Hanson Road here in Beaverton. I describe everything as if you're standing in the street facing the front of the house. So right now we're in the garage. On the right side of the garage here, just before you get to the man door entrance into the house, you got a 3-inch clean out sticking out of the wall. ABS plastic. We're going to check the overall condition, serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're going to zero out right as we drop in here. This is not the true main clean out for the house. I'm hoping this works though. I can see where the line comes out. It comes out to the right of the front door, very, very near where the hose bib is at. I've been poking around there for a while to no avail, unfortunately, so that's why we're going through this right now. And I think we may have just gone past, oh, never mind, we're still under the house here. What I'm going to do though is once we get out here, and this is the hard part going through an access point like this, is the amount of turns it routes you through. Let's see if this gets us all the way out or not. These cleanouts like this exist, generally speaking, because of the amount of turns that are inside the crawl space area. By code, once you have a certain amount of turns in a certain span of pipe, you've got to have another access point. Alright, there's our outside cleanout here. I'm going to see if I can locate that and dig it up, because I'm worried my camera's not going to get all the way through here. Alrighty, found the clean out. It's sitting a little bit further out than your average clean out is, and the line, I think, makes a little bit of a jog once it dives into the dirt in there. It doesn't run completely straight from what you can see visually in the crawl space. Anyway, got a little bit of bonus pipe scoped out of it here. Normally I don't mess around scoping this much interior crawl space. And this stuff is all draining nicely. I've got 3 different fixtures running right now, which puts a lot of water volume down line. If any of this pipe was bellied out, it would be very obvious. The line would be, that much water volume will turn a 1/4 inch of standing water into what looks like 2 or 3 inches. Anyway, our main concern here is what's buried underground outside that you have to have a camera to look at. This stuff you can look at with your eyeballs in the crawl space. We're going to go move over to the other clean out. That pipe there in the crawl though looks good. Drains off nice, and a very clean line too. There's very little buildup to speak of. Alrighty, we are now on the outside of the house here. Again, we are to the right of the door. So if you're facing the front of the house, where this clean out's at here is about 3 feet out from the front of the house. Usually they're about another foot or so closer than that. And you're offset to the left of the hose bib here by about a foot. And it lines up, the best lineup here of all is this bush. It lines up perfectly with the bush. I'm going to drop back in here and zero out. Water is still running. Off we go. A little stringy thing there at the top of the pipe. That it looks like either a cobweb or it's debris of some kind. It's not a root. And normally I've got my auto leveling camera head. This fancy new wireless system of mine does not give you the option to manually flip the screen over, so I apologize for, doesn't bug my eyeballs a bit, but I know that's a little bit funny to look at. Just transitioned there to 4-inch 3034 PVC. Anyway, if you want to keep your line this clean, and this is incredibly clean relative to most homes, it all comes down to living habits, and the biggest one is not putting greases, fats, and oils down your kitchen sink drain. And generally, it's when you're doing it in a reasonable amount of quantity. What I tell most folks is kind of a rule of thumb. If you have enough grease or oil on your pans, this is when the pans are hot or warm, to where, you know, some fats completely harden up when they cool down. If you've got enough on your pans that when you turn them sideways, that stuff runs off the pan in beads or worse, it's at that point you want to do something about it. You know, let your pans cool down, wipe them out with a paper towel, pour it into a jar or something like that. Thin little coating of Pam spray, no big deal. That hot water and soap handles that. This is a beautiful example of how to treat your sewer line right here. All right, located the camera head successfully. The line terminates at the main on Southwest Hanson Road. So as you face the house from the street, the line ends up kind of orienting over toward, it heads toward the right side property line, but it turns probably a good, 8 to 10 feet approximately. I don't know exactly where that line is at, but visually to the eye, it straightens out and starts shooting out to the road about 8 to 10 feet in from the right side property line, or like where the fence line would be. And the line terminates on the far side of the road. I mean, you're almost up against the curb on the opposite side of the street there. My foot counter reset for some reason. It's not counting backwards. Not that it matters at this point, but alright. All the PVC pipe there looks fantastic, drains off beautifully. Transition joint there looks good. Pretty immaculate sewer line. Again, the little stringy thing up there is either a cobweb or that looks like more like a cobweb than anything, which are very, very prevalent in sewer lines. Fantastic looking sewer line there. Great flow end to end, not only on the outside, but the inside looked good too. All the pipe is intact, has great flow, and is superbly clean. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.